man-thon pretty much with what he'd be wearing. You could pretty much see the side of his balls sticking out, and we'd be doing jumpies, and everyone would have to look at that. So, yeah, I still haven't forgot about that to this day, Turlock. So, thanks for that. But
it's a vivid image. It's a vivid image for Dan.
One of the first things that came up when he asked about it.
Hey everybody, we are back for another episode off the Hosel, episode 72. Who's number 72 in the NHL?
72. I don't know.
Donskoy? That sound right? Doesn't matter.
I don't know. I can't think of anything now. We got some thunder going on right now.
Yeah, it's thunder and lightning. Must be a podcast day. My name's Drew Kocur. I'm your host. I'm joined by the picking machine, Danny H.
Koshi.
Danny H is back in the
What's going on, man?
It's podcast day. Excited. It's a great day. It's Tuesday night.
It's Tuesday night.
Wednesday morning for all you watching.
We're getting a thunderstorm right now as we speak, I think. So,
yeah,
but I'm happy to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. No Troy. As you can see, there's down to 2 chairs today. He'll be back next week, from what it sounds like. And no intern this week, so no interner.
No rip.
No rip. But Danny H. and myself will got you covered this week. A full podcast with 2 guests. But first, we get into it, though. Brought to you by Nissan Regina. #1 place to get your next vehicle oil change or any vehicle-related needs. You need an oil change, you need a new car, you need a car wash. Go check them out. 1111 Broad Street, Regina, Saskatchewan. It's a place to be.
And where are we right now, Drew?
Dan, I'm going to ask you.
We're at Divots Indoor Golf. We got 7 simulators. They're not open right now, but wait till next year at the end of summer, and they'll be open back up. Keep them in mind over the summer because we're in here right now, and I miss it. I miss everyone being in here, but
yeah, I'm excited. I just things are kind of going in the right direction, back to normal, which is nice. Yeah. I got my shot this past what day's today? Monday. I got my shot.
Yeah, it's Wednesday now.
The Band-Aid hurt more putting it on.
Yeah, that's what you said.
So feel good.
The Band-Aid hurt more?
Yeah, didn't even feel the needle go in.
They just do it quick. Quick stab and then
jab. So I'm poked with Pfizer, waiting for the next one. I don't know what the hell the next one's called, but what's it called? Christian, you know what it's called?
I don't know.
No.
Pfizer something.
Anyhow, so I'm first portion of getting back to whatever normal is. Dan, I know you're going soon, but lots to chat about today. So golf, hockey, sports, playoff hockey's back.
Oh,
golf has been buzzing.
Back.
Hockey's back. Fans are in the crowd. That's the coolest thing. Like people, I watched a game the other night. There's no fans. I'm like, turned it off. Watched the Florida game, and is it Tampa Bay? They all Florida battle.
Yeah.
Wow, was that game electric?
Unreal with fans. I mean, I think I don't know if they're at 100%, but it looked like 100% capacity. But yeah, it looked unreal. And yeah, like you said, you go to the other games, the Canadian, Calgary and Vancouver that are playing right now for their last regular season games. You go to their games and they're just no fans and just just not the same without fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's probably a big adjustment too. And then even I was watching Monday night. It seemed like that Colorado game too. At the end, you see Jordan Bennington flying down the ice. It was unreal. There was scrums, there's fights. It's like hockey's electric.
Did you see Landeskog's?
I did tilt with Braden Shen, Sassy boy.
Yeah, Shen chucked a bit of a knee there, but
yeah, you know what though?
Knee/hip, I'll say.
Yeah, I didn't like the hit. Whatever it is, I'm not getting into that.
But not worth the
good
suspension.
Fight though. They both nutted up and they went to fight, and it was awesome to see.
I want to see John Tavares do that first game against.
You think John Tavares fight?
No, if he gets a little worked up, might get a little scrum, might but I don't drop in the mitts like Landeskog did. I don't know. That'd be cool to see, eh? He's a strong guy.
It was.
Who knows?
I'm trying to think of all the games I watched. I watched Colorado's game.
Boston, Washington.
I watched the Islanders game.
Oh, yeah,
I watched the tail end of Boston, Washington. Brad Marchand, guy big, won last night, winner.
Yeah, that series tied 1-1 now.
Yeah. And then Canadian is what, start this week?
The
division, sorry, not the Canadians. But.
Yeah, the Oilers and Winnipeg play tomorrow. Tonight, I guess, since this was Wednesday now. And the Leafs play Thursday against Montreal. So Game 1 of those, I can't wait. I've just been itching to get the playoff hockey going, but it's not going to be the same watching without no fans. I mean, I'm going to be jealous just, seeing these games now than watching the Leafs game,
Well, it's kind of even crazy, too, to see, like the fan noise, and then you see the real fans. and how much actually louder it is.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and the impact they have, and you know, like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're right though. Like, watching a Canadian game, they'd be like, oh, it's playoffs, and you know, the Leafs are good, and they have a really good chance of going far, which is awesome to see.
Yeah.
But it's just gonna be different because I think honestly that's gonna play a factor if they get out of the North, and I think they should the way they're set up. But going into play a team that has fans, that's going to be adjustment.
Yeah.
And then that team coming back home to play in Canada, hopefully there's fans down the road. But I mean, it's definitely be an adjustment for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And I was saying too, one with the fans, not even just the crowd noise is the biggest part of it. But when you see when you're watching Tom Wilson or whoever, right, flying down the wind, like there's so much more hitting, especially that Tampa and Florida series.
Tampa dummied that. Who's that guy dummied the bench? Kurt Lazar.
No, Tom Wilson. What you said Tampa. Tom Wilson.
Wilson dummied Lazar to the bench.
But just seeing the crowd's reaction, because
they're excited.
Yeah, everyone's jumping up, screaming, fist bumping. It's unreal, and then you can tell they're excited to be back. So yeah, I love it, and hopefully we can get some fans here soon. So
yeah, absolutely.
Anyways.
Okay, well I guess there's no Troy here, but no Rip. So Danny, what's new with you? Yeah, walk us through.
Not much has changed since last week. I didn't golf actually this week. It pissed me off. I should have, because now we're gonna get probably a week of rain. So
we need it though, of course.
We need the rain. I'm not complaining about that, but yeah, it'll probably be another week or so till I can get back on the course. Did you went golfing? I know. Lots.
Yeah, I played twice this past weekend with our syndicate. It's called Pars and Bars. So played some golf there with some of the boys. Yeah, it was. I was disappointed in myself. Those 2 of the nicest days of the year thus far, and I played terrible.
Really?
I was 4 over day 1, and day 2 I was 5 over. It's not acceptable.
What was your lowest score from the last time I talked to you last Tuesday?
74.
74?
Few over par. Yeah, it's not very good. So I think I was 74 on Wednesday and 75.
You just been 76. Going to the Royal, right? Every round?
Yeah, Royal, playing there lots, and yeah, I guess men's night too. On Wednesday, I was 1 under going to 18. Me and a guy hit both the same drive in the exact same spot. Both our balls are lined up with black lines, tailor-made. I walk up to it. He sees his. He's kind of like, oh, whatever. And we didn't check, so we're both at fault.
Yeah.
But all we saw was a black line. I had a black line on my ball. I didn't know he had a black line.
Just swung.
I stiff mine to 3 feet, make birdie, shoot 2 under. He misses the green, makes 5. He's like, hey, coach, this is your ball.
Oh.
Are you shitting me?
After you guys buried him?
Yeah.
Really?
So he makes 5. I make 3. I would have won men's night to shoot 2 under. In actual tournament play, I would have to go back and play it, but there's groups coming in quick. Yeah. So I took 2 strokes, end up shooting even par. It's my own stupidity. You can't teach dumb. I was told once. But that would definitely hurt in a tournament. I'd be pissed. That would be my luck to nationals, not just looking at the ball and just
assuming it's yours, eh?
Yeah.
I think this is where it landed.
But it was my ball was here and his ball was right there.
Yeah.
So both good drives though.
Yeah. Good job.
But you live and learn. And it was only $30 to play men's night, so I didn't lose a ton of cash, but it's upsetting.
Yeah. Did you have a few beverages too?
Yeah, I played the shit on the weekend. Yeah,
really?
I got dominated both days.
While you're golfing.
So okay. So I back to when you said I think last week, you're you get better, coach, when you drink. No, I was 2 over on 16, and then it was so hot out. I felt I was in this Sahara desert, and I was now I've had a sip out of my 1 liter water bottle. That didn't help.
No.
Putting on the sunscreen helped for sure, but I was whoa, hitting my driver, not very good, not gonna lie. So I'm gonna go book a lesson. Or a swing lesson with Dino probably.
Or an AA meeting.
Yeah, maybe that too. I appreciate that, Dan.
No.
Definitely the booze didn't help. So I'm going to try and not go no booze at all, just kind of limit and pull back a bit.
Until our first round together, then it'll be absolute mayhem. And
just pork missiles and
and beers and your vodka sodas or whatever you like.
Okay. What else? Jordan Eberle last week. Big podcast. People were jammed for that one.
It was a good one.
Ebbs.
I wasn't there for that one.
Yeah.
Want to say something? I was just saying I wasn't there for that one, but I listened to it all and it was good. It was cool just thinking that he's from Regina. You know what I mean? He's
playing for the Regina Kings, buzzing around over there.
Well, you remember. I'm sure you remember watching him for the Pats, right?
He was a water boy.
You're a water boy, right? And I was up in the nosebleeds, but sniffing my own farts. But just
Gross.
watching him. he was an unbelievable player in the Dub, obviously, and him now playing with the Islanders, and I think it's a good fit for him. And they beat. They're
1-0 in the series. They play tonight
against Pittsburgh. Yeah,
they play Tuesday night as we're recording this. They play against Pittsburgh again
tonight. Yeah,
and they beat them last year 4 straight. So we're rooting for Ebbs.
Yeah,
he was a great guest. I think he had a lot of good things to say, and it's kind of cool to see a guy that's still playing come on.
Yeah,
talk about you get the same question 100 times over again. The World Junior goal.
But he doesn't mind talking about it, right?
Great dude.
And I did like how I wasn't there for that one, like I said, but how at the end too he was saying, anytime he could, talk to anybody from back home, he'll do it, right? So I think if we were out in Quebec or somewhere, he might not have done it. So it was definitely appreciative for him to come on and talk with us. So.
Yeah, and the one thing too, I guess I'd say, is a humble brag for us is, I haven't seen him on any other podcast, besides, the Rod Peterson show, and we're friends with those guys, and so thanks to Ebbs and coming on our show and having a good time, and I've touched base on a little bit here. I texted him one day, I'm like, congrats, want to know, and he's like, did the prayer thing. He's like, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
So now there's a connection now, and I'm still hoping he's gonna tip me for a few years ago down the road.
He didn't tip you when you were younger, right?
Yeah, but no, I think I said in the pod, I said, this is the tip. So it was just crazy how it all comes full circle, and I'm sure I'll have him back on again.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Nothing.
What's Christian
just
doing back
smiling.
there? Just smiling.
Happy to be here, man. Come on.
All right.
Smile.
I love it. All right. Okay, let's talk. I know Nathan McKinnon's been, I don't know if you watched the game. We obviously talked about playoff hockey and whatnot, but that guy's something else.
Like, what do you say about him? Like, really? You're a scout here.
Is the question, is he too good for the league?
Is he human? I don't know.
Is he human? Like, he was doing, even his first 3 strides are incredible.
It's explosive,
and then he just piss-missiled one right into the open net last night. He's like, let's go.
His speed and just his durability to, just shifting side to side as he's crossing over. It's like nothing. Like, obviously McDavid's up there too, but I don't know, McKinnon he's so aggressive with.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's running around. He's hitting guys still, and he wants a cup. Like, that team's due for a cup here soon. So
here's one thing I was going to ask you. Like, one of our listeners from Ontario, Jeremy Hanley, talking last night a little bit.
He's a big
Avs fan.
Yeah.
And I said last night, and maybe I'm wrong, if that team, Colorado, doesn't win the next 3 to 5 years, they may go down in history as one of the best teams on paper and in the regular season to not win a cup.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, I guess.
Like, their decor is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, Sammy Girard, they're just doing button hooks all day, and, like, McCarr's
unreal,
That guy's unreal.
Their whole lineup is guys that could honestly be all-stars, every year going to the all-star game, I swear. But anyways, what else you got?
Just right to it. Okay, so I talked to the guys that are streaming today. Hats will be coming in.
Yeah, I need help.
Just waiting for the last mock-up. They will be coming in. Stay tuned. The hats look sick. I already saw in the first couple mock-ups. Waiting for the third and final. They look sweet. I'm excited.
I want to see. Are we giving those away, right? Do some giveaways, maybe?
No, we'll do some giveaways, but they're definitely. We haven't figured out a price yet because I haven't even seen the price yet. But there's going to be
some for sale.
Unfortunately, we're not in the business to lose money. But
there'll be some for sale, and I can't. wait.
And ball markers. Brandon Giroux. I played senior with him in Raymore for the 4 games I played.
Yeah.
The 1 year, but he made some ball marks, and he's actually really talented. He made some, he engraved it off the Hosel and like the logo.
Oh,
Super
really?
cool. They're like chrome and not chrome, dumbass. They're like steel and like what? I'm done. They're really cool. So when you see them, we'll give them out to you. And
I need one of those. I just use like a chip or something that day.
You just put like
a little Dorito chip, eh?
No, what are those little cookies you got in high school? You put in a little snack pack or something?
Little Chips Ahoy cookies?
Yeah, Chips Ahoy.
Mini Chips Ahoy?
Put those down. Yeah, so stay tuned. Lots of merch coming, more stuff. People have actually inquired about sweaters too, so we might need some more sweaters too.
Or I don't know, it's summer's coming up, so maybe we have to find some t-shirts.
I'm leaking right now in this golf shirt.
I know, it's warm in here, so.
But, okay, golf roundup. AT&T Byron Nelson. Winner was K. Young Hoon Lee, shooting a nice, smooth -25. Sam Burns, second place, lost by 3. I'll be completely honest, everyone listening and watching right now, I think I watched the final putt on 18. I was just so busy golfing all weekend.
Yeah.
I was trying to follow it, and then I was watching like some senior tour on my phone. Like it was busy.
Well, and for me too, I'm not gonna lie. Like with it being especially in Regina, it's gotten really nice out and really warm out.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay inside and sit and watch golf when you want to go play, or I went for some patio drinks with the boys and stuff like that. So it's hard to just sit in right now unless it's playoff hockey for me. But yeah, what happened though? Who won?
Taeyeon Hoon Lee won.
Okay.
And I watched some of the round, like the recap of it. Looked like some good golf though. But Canadians in the field, Michael Glitter, T47th, Mackenzie Hughes, T52. Hadwin was cut. Roger Sloan was T34. So again, I didn't watch a ton, but this week's a big week though, and I will be tuning into it for sure, as the weather is kind of shitty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
PGA Championship, big week. A lot of good players in the field. I'm excited. It's always a good event, and yeah.
Yeah. I just pretty much covered it.
I love it. Okay, I didn't do local talk yet, but our first guest on today, before Dan jumps into his stuff here, the new general manager of the Royal Regina Golf Club, I call it Country Club, doesn't matter. Ryan Pollock, we had him on yesterday. We got to him first. I was pretty pumped. Did 20-ish minute chat with him about that. I didn't know that he coached junior hockey. He was coaching Bonneville for a little bit there.
Yeah, that's cool.
He played junior, played over in Europe, played junior in the States, played Notre Dame for a short period of time.
Nice.
And then obviously with the Riders for almost a decade. And the things I learned from him was awesome. And, I think he's good for the club, good for the game. And he has a lot of, exciting stuff coming for the golf course. So I'm excited to work. We're excited to work with him. Mm-hmm. Wants to come back on. We'll do some patio talks this year.
Yeah.
So congrats to Ryan, and he'll be on the first portion of the show, and then followed by our next guest. But
Right.
I know Danny H has some questions here, and the old segment, in the doghouse with Danny H.
I'm surprised you got it.
Shut up.
In the doghouse with Danny H. 5 random questions. You ready?
Yes, I am.
Ready for this week?
We'll see.
All right. Also, I only got 4 questions this week, so it's not 5, 4 questions.
Dumbass.
Here we go. What are you taking on the golf course for a drink?
What's that?
Pink Whitney, whiskey, or rum?
Okay, now
Is your go-to for
whiskey?
whiskey? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, whiskey or vodka. Big vodka guy, but there wasn't a vodka question,
well,
so
Pink Whitney is vodka, technically.
it's fine. I don't want it though. I want
You don't
whiskey.
want the pink
Whiskey.
lemonade?
Whiskey it is.
Okay.
Last Mountain Distillery whiskey. Check them out.
All right.
What about you? Back to in the
Well,
doghouse
you
with
know-
Drew.
If I'm golfing, usually I'm a beer guy, right?
Beer guy, Molson.
Yeah.
Or Vizzies?
Vizzies are pretty good. I actually did get at the Goulet, the first round I went was those Caesars in a can.
Yeah.
What's the proper term for them? Whatever.
A Mott's Clamato.
Yeah, the Clamato. Oh my, those are unreal, ice cold. Ooh. On a if you got an early round, I think I'm going to that. But it's Clamato. I can't drink too much of that stuff. But
All right, moving on.
okay, where would you live? This is just in the States.
Okay.
Nashville, Tennessee, Dallas, Texas, or Scottsdale, Arizona.
Scottsdale, Arizona. Hands down. So warm there. Hot. My skin would not do well there, but
I was gonna say I'm
the
too
golf
pale.
would be unreal.
I think I'm too pale for that place.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Scottsdale, Arizona.
All right, that's fair. But if you want to go party, go to Nashville, right?
Yes.
Nashville.
Yeah. Well, you seen the parties in Arizona though? They're pretty intense.
Yeah, that's true. They're both pretty good.
ASU.
This one's NHL. Back to NHL talk here. Who's coming out of the Canadian division? Leafs, Jets, or Oilers? And I'm not even going to say Montreal because I hope that
Leafs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're just.
If Montreal beats them out in this first round, I might not be alive the night after that happens. So just a little warning. No.
I think that the Leafs get some good goaltending and continue what they have going on right now. There's hands
pieces.
down.
They got all the pieces.
Yep.
They got the toughness now. They got. I mean, obviously they've always had the skill, and now the goaltending is looking pretty good. So, all right, you're going Leafs. No,
Leafs.
Drew's a Leafs fan. No.
My grandpa was forever.
All right. Now this is just going to piggyback that question. Who's winning the cup?
Colorado. Like I said, I think Colorado has to win the cup. Not have to, but I think they're so good. Like right from goaltending up, they score a lot of goals. They're fast. They play heavy. They're smart. they're a tough team to beat, I think. Like they move so quick from the defensive zone to offensive zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Colorado.
You know who I think?
I used to be a Detroit fan forever, so it's hard for me to say that.
Yeah. You know who I think if they can get over this first round hump and they can beat Tampa out would be Florida. I think they have a good chance.
Yeah.
If they can get past Tampa, they have a good chance. Obviously, if they don't, then yeah. But Tampa's an unreal team too. It's like, how do you get past that team with, like, what, it was Kucherov's first game there back, and he just lit it up. And
Well, yeah, it's like what even like Stapes texted me that night. He's like, this Kucherov guy's unreal. He misses like X amount of time, comes back and just unreal. Scores 3 points. He's like, when I missed time, I was worried about practice, let alone jumping into the playoffs.
Legit, it's unreal. I think Florida's a good. Even Vegas. Vegas is always going to be team. Well, they've gone far every year, but they look pretty good too. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for today for in the doghouse.
With
Danny H.
there is okay. You need some notes from
Yeah.
some listeners and some followers wrote in today.
Right.
Bring those up, Danny H, because I'm let's chat about him. That's what we're all about. Give him back.
Yeah. We'll start off with this first one from Kyle Lindskog.
New follower we saw.
Just followed us too and sent us a question right away. I like that. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Kyle asks, is John Daly in the running for GOAT status, or is he just the people's champ?
Man, that's a hard question to answer. I think
he's like a bit of both in a way.
yeah, he's both, and then even like Dale mentioned on the pod, like just like this guy just comes up with a like rolling a golf cart and gives him a Diet Coke. Like I think even like when you watch Bryson now, that's how you watch John Daly back. And even now you watch John for like the clothes he's gonna wear the next day with his loudmouth golf he wears, and yeah, he's entertainment and he's a good player.
Yeah, he is, and he just slugs back the liquor, which I like too. Darts and liquor.
Darts, yeah.
Oh yeah. So what are you gonna say? Just a bit of both on that question?
Yeah, a bit of both. I think it's a generic question. Yeah, but I like the question.
All right.
Keep writing in.
Yep. All right. The other co-host here writes in. Troy Kocur writes in. Do we want to answer this one? Let's answer it.
Yeah, let's do it.
When co-host Troy isn't there, how different is the vibe and feel in the studio? Asking for a friend. I probably shouldn't have said his name there when he asked that question, but whatever. I threw you under the bus, Troy. Is it different when Troy's not here? I don't think so.
I think it's it's different. Of course, it's not a third voice.
There's not a third voice. It's a little quieter.
A little quieter.
My ears don't hurt.
Troy doesn't yell AO.
Yeah.
Like off The Office, he's like Andy. We say,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely different. We missed you, and he was here from almost day one. So
yeah, there's no different vibe. It's just we always laugh a lot more too.
You probably could have just texted me that question, Troy. But yes, that's
again. I don't think I was supposed to say his name, but whatever. I threw him under the bus.
It's all good.
It's all
yes,
good.
We missed you, Troy.
Missed you, bro. All right, Mac Turlock. You know who that is, right?
Turley.
My old captain. Writes in Jungle Bee moments. So this could get kind of interesting.
Okay, so for people that don't know, Jungle B is Junior B hockey, and he's referring to Saskatchewan Junior B.
Yeah, and we both played, me and Drew. So.
Yeah. I guess first off, like you kind of set yourself up for that one, Turley, but probably winning, 7 games our first year, and then beating that team out in the first round.
Yeah, I was on that.
Sorry,
team.
Turtles. Yeah, sorry, Dan.
I was on that team
but,
too.
That was the first one.
Why'd you have to bring that up?
He brought it up himself.
Yeah, that was tough. You guys deserved one though, but yeah, that was
Junior B moment. I can't even think of even on the on-ice one. Scored a lot of goals against that team though.
Oh, you know what? I got one. I've heard about you. I wasn't playing with you yet.
This should be fun.
When I don't know where it was. Was it a Cinnaboy or something? There was a scrum from the net, and I heard you picked up.
Oh yeah.
The other team's stick.
Yeah. So that's a good one.
I just thought I know.
No, so there's a scrum. Weren't you on the team? I think you were on the team that time.
No, I wasn't there.
Okay, so I think it was at Wiggs, Gibbs, a couple other guys, and not gonna lie, I'm not a tough guy. So I get in there, I throw a few punches, whatever it is.
A few slashes, you mean?
No, this time I actually got 2, 5, and a 10. So I was like most pims I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
And yeah, I wasn't double-minded for slashing, but there's a scrums going on. The guys are kind of like wrestling over there and whatever, and I grab this guy's stick. That's a brand new like CCM, whatever it is, and he looks the other way, and I grab it, I look at it, and I kind of like discreetly do it, and I just over the crossbar one-handed, shattered in half, And he freaked out. What the fuck, Kocur? What are you doing? It's my stick. I'm like, whatever. Like, don't drop it then. And, I got a 2, 5, and a 10.
Did you get an extra penalty for that? For slashing or the ref didn't see it?
I couldn't tell. It was a 2, 5, probably 2 minutes for.
Did the guy not beat you up that time, or he couldn't get to you? Or
couldn't get to me. Gooding was in net.
You skated
Gooding's
off
a
the ice.
rock. No, dude, my helmet was off. I was in there.
But
that's the thing. Like, I would never tell a player to like jump a guy or anything because I never did that. But yeah, so I mean.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I thought about that.
That's a good one, Dan. Appreciate it. Anything about you?
You know, lots,
you know what Dan used to do before every game?
Okay, let's see how true this is. You're probably going to stir it up.
Dan used to crush a banana every game, before every game.
2 bananas.
2 bananas, potassium.
Yeah, I was a 2 banana
guy. Get the potassium in you.
Yeah, that's not really a story, but yeah, I was a big 2 banana
Tell us
guy.
one of your best stories you're going to be.
Well, okay, first, I'm just going to say something, too, about Turlock. He writes in. I'm going to throw him under the bus here a little bit. You know the jumpies before you start getting dressed?
Yeah.
So our team, when I was playing with Turlock at the time, he was our captain, so he would always run the jumpies, and he would pretty much get damn near naked. Little crotch, pretty much a thong Turlock that, you remember
thong.
that. Yeah, man thong pretty much what he'd be wearing. You could pretty much see the side of his balls sticking out, and we'd be doing jumpies, and everyone would have to look at that. So, yeah, I still haven't forgot about that to this day, Turlock. So, thanks for that. But
it's a vivid image. It's a vivid image for Dan.
One of the first things that came up when he asked about that. We kind of got a funny story about.
Yeah, I think it's best for another time. Maybe when we're
okay.
We're bigger,
We'll talk about
bigger, better, and stronger. But
let's just say we had a few bevies back in the day when we played junior. So
yeah, absolutely.
Good times, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we had a lot of good team parties and stuff. I mean,
I was always a good party. I was always a DJ.
yeah, Coach was always the DJ.
I love the tunes. Okay, let's jump on here. Going long today, but it's a full podcast, like I said. So Ryan Pollock coming up first, talk about his new job as the general manager of the Royal Regina. And then our guest from Ontario, David Byrne. He won the Big Break Indian Wells. You know, the old TV show. I think it still goes on, but a lot of good stories with him. And, you know, he shot some good stories, 61 a ton of times. Mm-hmm. He beat, actually, friend of the show, Kent Eager, on Big Break Indian Wells. So it was kind of, it all kind of came together again. 2 good interviews. Ryan Pollock first up and David Byrne. So hope you guys enjoy it. All right, open up the podcast today. We have a great interview with the new general manager of the Royal Regina. He spent almost a decade with the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the CFL in our director of football operations role. Has now taken his experience and knowledge to the golf industry. We're happy to have on today Ryan Pollock. Man, I'm pumped.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Real pleasure.
This is exciting. We just had a 15-minute chat. We're all loose. We're warmed up. First off, man, what's new with you? And you know, it's obviously been a crazy year for everyone, but I'm sure you for the last little bit too.
Yeah, trying to survive just like everyone else. Obviously, it's been a tough go for the last little while here, but things are good. You know, I feel like we're moving forward as a province here, so lots to be excited about, and hopefully those numbers keep coming down, and we see businesses starting to reopen and life coming back out. So you know, it's an exciting time for our province, and let's keep things rolling.
Got my vaccine today. Feel good. Arm's a little heavy. I'm ready to rock.
Yeah, stay away from the weight room for a day, and you'll be good.
Okay, I want to, you know, obviously chat, and obviously I believe you're from Regina.
Yep, born and raised Regina.
Born and raised in the Queen City. You know, and we always do this on this podcast. We talk to all our guests, and we want to backtrack things. You know, we're a little different, so give us a rundown on a young Ryan Pollock. What were you doing in the Queen City of Regina?
Yeah, I was born at a real young age. Grew up in East Regina in Glencairn and Parkridge area.
Okay.
Was a hockey guy
so you're
growing
tough.
up. Yeah. Had some tough hockey teams growing up, and played baseball as well as a kid, and moved more into just the hockey stream when I became into that high school age, 13, 14, and really went down that path there, and graduated high school, went on to play junior hockey down in the USHL, and then moved on to back here, I guess for college hockey, and
nice.
Got my degree here from the University of Regina. So everything, all roads kept leading back to Saskatchewan and back to my hometown here.
Do you play hockey in Notre Dame?
I did. I started out in Notre Dame. I was actually a Weyburn property when I was 16, 17 years old, and in the middle of or just before a playoff run near the deadline, Weyburn and Notre Dame made a trade, and
Nice.
I was a listed player that got moved from Weyburn to Notre Dame, and I ended up just playing about 3 or 4 months in Notre Dame as an 18-year-old before going down to the U.S. But funny enough, made some really good friends there, and guys we still keep in touch with, and it was an experience. I'll say that, but every experience makes you who you are, and all those good things. But great coaches, great time out there. It's a different world, and but yeah, had a little cup of coffee there.
Nice. Where'd you? I'm curious to play. Where'd you play in the USHL?
Down in Great Falls, Montana. So actually, our GM at the time was from Milestone, so I'm sure he had some inroads there with the Notre Dame club. And I was a guy that was a little bit in and out of the lineup as an 18-year-old and trying to find my way. And they came calling and gave me an opportunity. And the original plan was for me to go down there and finish out that year from like November to the end of the year, December to the end of the year, and then come back to Notre Dame as a 19-year-old and be a little more seasoned. But I went down there, and it was such a good group of guys and a good team, and I enjoyed that the league so much that I just decided to stay there, and ended up being 3 fantastic years. And
nice.
I'm really happy with the choice I made.
Awesome. Okay, well, so clearly sports were a part of your, you growing up, and obviously now what you're doing. Before we get into, where you're at now, like, did you know what you wanted to do when you finished junior and after University of Regina?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Like when I entered university, the first thing I looked for was the kinesiology program.
Nice.
I'm a sport brain. It's what motivates me. It's what I want to be around, and I've never been an individual that was motivated to put on a shirt and tie and walk to an office for 40 years of my work in life or whatever. And I always was motivated by that, and that would push me to get my degree. And I didn't think it was going to take me on the path that I'm currently on, but I've been able to fall back on my educational experiences and also obviously my professional development and things like that. So excited for what's to come, but always motivated through sport and athletics.
Awesome. All right, so almost a whole decade with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And everyone listening here now, as always, I talk fast, so deal with it. Let's deal, like the journey. Almost 10 years. Like, let's talk about how you got into your first year there, and then obviously to where you got to.
Yeah, crazy actually. I was coaching in the Alberta Junior Hockey League, and I was there for 5 years, and we had just made the decision that my wife and I had just had our first boy. It was I guess almost 2 at the time, but we were expecting our second, and we just made the decision that we wanted to move back and felt it was important that our kids grew up around family, their grandparents and aunts and uncles and all that stuff. So we decided to leave and move back. And just when I was actually just looking for jobs, a posted job with the Rough Riders in their media relations department, and read through the job description and thought, hey, I could do a lot of this, and felt like I could bring a unique skill set, being an athlete myself, and probably finding a way to connect, with the players and coaches and understanding what they go through on a day-to-day basis, and that up and down of emotions. And literally threw my name in, Sask Jobs.
Wow.
So threw my name in, and got a call a couple days later, and drove 6.5 hours back from northern Alberta to interview, and finished the interview and hopped in my vehicle and drove 6.5 hours back to northern Alberta, and
just thinking and sweating.
And when I got home, my wife met me at the door and said, there's a voicemail from someone from the Riders. So I checked it and just said, can you call us in the morning when you're back, and settled back in, and I gave them a call, and they offered me the position. So
nice.
It was a big stress reliever knowing that moving back home with one child and the second one to be born in a few weeks, and being able to make sure you got a job was obviously a big thing. So, but yeah, it went by in a blink of an eye, and obviously going in there, and I started in 2012, and then hosting the Grey Cup in 2013, just a year later, was supposed to be a season just unto itself, and being able to be around that, and watching how a club goes through and what goes into hosting a Grey Cup, and then obviously being able to be a part of the team's success, and being around there when that stuff goes on was pretty special.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I mean, you probably wish Zoom was 10 years ago was probably a thing now instead of driving 6 hours for an interview.
Yeah, no doubt. But and what's funny is when I resigned with the team, I handed back everything, handed back my keys, handed back my phone. So I went a month with no cell phone or anything. So it seems like would be so crazy now to not have a cell phone for a month and
feel naked.
And get the home landline had the voicemail on it, so I had to call in and get that and figure out what I was doing. So, but yeah, man, it was 10 years. It's been just over 10 years ago that when I started. It was crazy.
That's awesome. Well, that's a crazy ride, and now into your next step, now new journey in life, and the new role of the general manager of the Royal Regina. I play there. I take a lot of pride in it. Just talk about that and the thoughts on it and that process too. I mean, don't obviously not details, but obviously it clearly caught your eye.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I was a member there as well when I first came back to Saskatchewan and was working with the Riders. I was a member for 4 or 5 years there, and unfortunately, just between the professional commitment and family commitment, I just had to take a step back. But always a place that I've been a big fan of. Love the atmosphere. Love the course, number one. I think it's a player's course, an opportunity to get around. It's a fun course, and I think it plays to a lot of different skill levels as well. So there's all those attractive things. And similar going back to what I said about the rider situation. When I saw the job posted, I kind of saw it and went, and then walked away and came back a couple days later and reread it and went, you know what, I think this is something that I could put together, and I think I check a lot of boxes and a lot of skill sets for it, and I've been very fortunate to learn a lot of different things through my time as a hockey coach, and all the things that go into a junior hockey running a junior hockey program, and then obviously advancing with the Rough Riders and within the Rough Riders, and seeing a lot of different things and learning a lot of different things and learning from some really great people. I thought it made me a strong candidate and had an opportunity, and obviously through the process some things went my way, and some people felt the same way that I did, and real enthusiastic to get going, and humbled that the choice was made and offered to me, and very, very excited and looking forward to what's ahead.
Yeah, no, everyone I've talked to, they're very, they're pumped, they're excited. I'm excited. Obviously sitting down with you within, what was it, a week now? When they announced the job last week?
Yeah, just last Thursday.
Yeah, so less than a week, and you're on the air, and I'm happy to have you on. So this is a lot of fun, because I do want to ask, because, taking that experience from coaching in junior hockey and, playing and doing so much for the Riders, where do you see all that experience coming into, being a GM of a golf course?
Yeah, well, I think anytime you're a leader, the most important thing is the way you treat people.
Yeah.
So I'm big on that. I'm someone that's takes a lot of pride in communication and being a face of the organization and that, and being able to ensure that, first and foremost, it's an area that people are comfortable coming to because they know they're going to be treated with respect and they know they're going to be welcomed. And I think that's priority number one right there. And, we can't forget that it's a golf course, and we want people to come there and, for their 2 hours or 4 hours, however long they're around there. We want to make sure that they're coming and they're having fun, and whatever is happening in the outside world, it's an opportunity for them to escape and be with their friends and go out and hit some balls around and have some fun with it. And, we're excited to get going. And that's going to be first and foremost for me, is to ensure that it's a real welcoming environment.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Well, let's open this up a little bit here. Let's chat about your golf game. What do you shoot? How often are you playing? You mentioned you were kind of tied up with the Riders for a little bit there, but what can we expect of the new GM?
Well, I'm a high fade guy, so I like to see the right side of the fairway. Hopefully, right side of the fairway a lot. But no, I'm about an 8 handicap, so I can get around okay.
Nice.
fortunate side of the way things went with the cancellation of the CFL season. I ended up playing quite a bit last year.
Yeah.
I was a bit of a tourist without a membership anywhere, so saw some cool courses just around that I haven't played a lot, but got to move around the city in southern Saskatchewan a little bit. But so that was fun. But you know, played a lot between like 2012 and 2016. So that's where I definitely improved. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, it's going to be part of the situation is being able to get out there and be around and maybe, who knows, maybe I can bring that 8 down to a 6 or something this year. We'll see.
I love it. Well, we were texting back and forth today. Like, I feel like we're best buddies now because we were texting so much and sending gifts. But you mentioned coolest places you've golfed. Let's chat about that. 'Cause I mean, even a golf course that came on board with us, Harbor in Elbow Lake. I'd never played it. Didn't know there was a golf course there. I played it last weekend. I was like, wow, this place is unreal. So let's chat about some of the golf courses that you've played and some of the coolest ones.
Well, I've always liked, there's no doubt I've always liked playing. So when I traveled around a little bit with work, I tried to see at times if I could throw in the clubs and maybe take advantage of a few spots there. So a couple that come to mind, we used to hold a mini camp down in Florida at IMG Academy, and they have a pretty big golf program there, huge tennis program, big football program within the high school there. So they have a 18-hole course right on the high school campus. So we'd stay there and run the mini camp in the mornings, and when they'd go and players would go into meetings or be done for the day, I'd sneak away in the afternoon and walk about just across the parking lot essentially and be able to tee off. And so I played down there a couple times. That was a good one. Also spent a week in Ottawa with the club, and I got to play Royal Ottawa a couple of times, which is a pretty cool course as well. Real nice spot. But for me, I think the best one I played is Torrey Pines down San Diego. Funny enough, maybe this was a setup, but for my wedding, my father-in-law bought me around at Torrey Pines because we were going to San Diego for my honeymoon. So I don't know if my father-in-law just wanted to get me away for 4 hours or what, but it was pretty cool. And at the time, I didn't even realize it, but I walked off the 18th tee, and it was the start of the World Junior Golf Championships were being held there.
Oh, okay.
So everything moves along so quickly that I'm walking and I'm seeing all these banners and everything going on.
You thought you were playing in the event?
Right. I'm like, well, I had a decent round, but I don't know if I was. Maybe I walked down the wrong fairway somewhere and got lost. But no, it was pretty cool. And the course was really quiet because of that. And the back nine, we had the course marshal actually came with me for a couple of holes, just chatting it up between shots. And it was pretty cool to listen to him because I'm a big Tiger fan. And it was like, that would have been, 2010. It was just after the U.S. championship there. So it was pretty cool to be able to walk around the course and be talking and saying, hey, that's where Tiger did this. And, obviously that was his big, the playoff and all the 3 eagles that he had on Saturday, Sunday, or whatever it was. And so it was a pretty neat spot to go to.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't, once this pandemic is hopefully over, sooner or later I want to get down and play some new courses, but that's on my bucket list for sure.
Yeah, I love going down there. We spend a lot of time in Palm Springs as well, like April, March each year. So I mean, throw a dart and you hit a unreal course down there too. So I mean, I love it. I enjoy the game so much, and I wish I was better. I'm sure like hundreds upon hundreds of golfers out there, unlimited amounts of golfers out there, but that's part of what's so awesome about it too. Is
it always keeps going back.
Yeah, you're never satisfied, and I think that's a little bit my mentality as well, and that's why it can be a fit, and that's kind of how I am as a professional too, if you will, I always feel like you can keep, once you've reached a standard, there's always the next standard to get to. So
yeah, no, that's correct, exactly. All right. Favorite beverage after a round? Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm definitely going with a cold one. There's no doubt. I don't know if I can say an actual name or not.
I hope you say the right one. I mean, you work for the Riders. I mean, I'm trying to think. We have a Molson sponsor.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt, always. But no, I'm going for a cold one, no doubt, especially on a day like today. If I'm walking off the course and it's 30 degrees, there's no doubt I'm gonna get out the calculator and sit down with a cold one and tally it all up.
Okay, here's some nitty-gritty questions here. Music on the golf course or no music on the golf course?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Okay, I
I
love
really
it.
don't, but I think there's I think there's a balance for everything, right?
Yeah.
True story. I was golfing just last week, and we could hear music about 4 fairways over, and that's, to me, that's
It's aggressive.
yeah, not right. But if you want to be around your cart and play a
Yeah.
little bit, I'm okay with that. It's a social thing, right? And
Yeah.
so as long as we're respecting, the full area and respecting the other people out on the course, I'm all for it.
Love it. Okay, I have 2 more here. One's favorite golfer. Who do you like to watch? I mean, again, so like for me, whether I'm coaching or I'm playing hockey or I'm golfing, I always have a guy I like to watch and try and do what he does, or learn from him. I'm sure you're the same way.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm a Tiger fan. There's no doubt about it. I've spent, ever since he came in, watching him as much as absolutely possible.
Yeah.
But, now I think there's lots of really young, good golfers
Yeah.
on the tour right now that are a ton of fun to watch. I don't know how young he is anymore, but DJ, I'm a big fan of. Dustin Johnson, I really like him.
I think he's turned 30 now, I think.
Yeah, so way up there. We watch Justin Thomas in our house a lot because that's my 11-year-old's favorite
Nice.
player. His middle name is Thomas, so he felt that there was an instant connection there as well. But Brooks Koepka, fun player to watch. I like watching him, mainly because me and him have similar body types. That's not true. But
Just yoked.
but maybe the opposite way. Maybe it's anybody but DeChambeau. That's how I like to approach it. But
Yeah, that's fair. Fair enough. Yeah, we've had a few discussions on this podcast about Bryson, and yeah, there's a lot
you
of
gotta
mixed answers.
give him credit. He's not short on confidence. That's for sure. And
You know what? And here's that thing. We'll get into it. Like I was like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's driving the ball too far. Make the courses longer." Well, I was like, why don't we applaud this guy? He took a pandemic to go, hey, I'm gonna get really gain some weight and then cut it all, and then just like I'm gonna outsmart the course.
yeah.
Sometimes he tries to outsmart it and becomes looks dumb on himself, but like he did a lot of work and it helped his game.
No doubt, he went in and reset himself. There's no question about it. And as a fan, there always has to be the antagonist, right? And but as a fan, he's one of those guys that I don't turn the channel when he's teeing up the ball. That's for sure. And he's coming with intent every time that he's on the tee box. So no, I really think it's a fun wave going through the PGA right now. And so there'll be lots of good days ahead with them. That's for sure.
Okay, last question here for Ryan, because I don't want it to be too long. Because we have a long summer, we'll do this lots, I'm sure.
For sure.
For me, and the reason why I started this, 14 months ago, growing the game. We want to see everyone playing, and whether they're a 100 handicap or a plus 10, whatever it is. Where do you see, being a GM on a golf course? How do you, and this is for everyone listening now, for golf pros and GMs, I think you're going to have some good advice here. How do we get, the junior programs at overcapacity and just get everyone playing? The ladies clubs are growing every day. Like, how do we grow that and grow the game for years to come?
Yeah, no, I think you hit it bang on when you said the word, it has to be inclusive. We need to, first of all, it needs to provide opportunity, and people need to be included. And that comes from, all levels and all walks of life in that sense of whether you're just starting out playing as a young female junior, or you've been a member of a club for your whole life, and you're a mid 40s male that's scratch. I think there needs to be opportunity for everybody, and the junior program definitely can't be overlooked, because those are the people that will be feeding the membership over the next years. And, so it's real important to include members that have children need to be able to find an opportunity to come to the club and be part of it as well. And then there also has to be the right amount of fun and instruction. And I'm always careful. I think, like every sport, there needs to be a practice element to it, and sometimes that's overlooked a little bit in golf because people want to just go and play, and it's, there's that time commitment to it, and you want to, when you pick up the clubs, you want to be able to go play, and not necessarily just stand on the range, but that's part of it, and I think that's how we get people to fall in love with the game. Is you want to, once you see your skills increase, you develop a deeper understanding and passion for the game, and then you want to play it more. And so I think that's definitely part of it. And like I said earlier, I think it's got to be something that when you come, you have to feel welcome to it. And if you feel anxiety, or you feel like you have to impress the people behind you on the tee, or you're feeling anxious because of who's around you, then that puts a negative feeling to you. So and that's one of the things, obviously, I'm going to be very front and center about is no matter what you shoot or how often you play, when you step on the Royal Regina grounds, you're gonna be a welcome patron and welcome part of it.
Awesome. That's great advice. Man, Ryan, I had fun today. It wasn't long, wasn't short, but we'll do this again. And I'm excited.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you reaching out. I'm glad we could work it out and get on. And absolutely, I look forward to hopping on again as things get rolling over there. I'm looking forward to the next getting started here in a few weeks. And as we get rolling over there, I'd love to hop back on.
Awesome, man. Okay, take care.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Alrighty, we are pleased to be joined by another great guest. He grew up in Essex, Ontario. He's a pro golfer, played university golf in the 313 of Detroit, Michigan. He was the winner of the iconic golf TV show Big Break in Indian Wells. So with all of that, we are pleased to have join us today David Byrne. Thanks for joining the podcast, man.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. I love doing these little podcastings for all the boys across Canada. It's fun.
It's pretty cool to think about all the connections that just doing podcasts, the people you meet.
Yeah, there's a bunch. I mean, it's definitely a world that I had no idea in, and then kind of, I guess the pandemic has kind of brought me back to be relevant.
Yeah,
fair enough. I've done a few of them. Yeah, and I got to meet a few people, or just kind of get to know people from being on the road beforehand. So yeah, it's nice to keep in touch with a few people and get to meet a few new people.
Awesome. All right. Well, I do want to get right into this here with you. Obviously, with this whole COVID situation and golfing. Obviously, what's new with you? I know you can't do a whole lot, but what's been up with you in this past year?
Well, right now it's illegal to golf in Ontario, so I unfortunately had a bunch of plans, but I don't even know if I have plans anymore. But the past year I started playing kind of, I would say, a little bit more of a serious competitive schedule again.
Yeah.
I just played the PGA Tour Canada, the Canada Life Series, and then I did some East Coast Pro Tour events, Toronto Players Tour events. I did pretty well in the Quebec events, the East Coast Pro Tour. 61 the one day course record, and then ended up being playoff to Drew Nesbitt. And then made all the cuts in the Canada Life Series events. But just I wouldn't say I never really contended, but played some pretty solid golf for kind of, I wouldn't say taking a hiatus from the game, but from a serious competitive standpoint a little bit, yeah.
Well, so should we talk about it? No golf in Ontario. I know there's a lot of people out here that are going it's dumb. Why can't you guys golf?
Yeah, it's a pretty frustrating topic. I've been forced to become a runner now, so I run in the mornings, and I see 50, 60, 70 kids on playgrounds, and then you can't walk. I actually posted a photo that seemed to get a little bit of attention on Twitter about. It was actually not mine. It was a guy I know, some Martin guy on my Facebook. We have a farmer's market here in Windsor, and there was hundreds and hundreds of people crowding the street and all this stuff, and then we can't be on a golf course. So from Ontario, it's pretty frustrating right now. I kind of had a bit of a schedule planned, and I was starting to get some lessons. There's a new place in Windsor called Swing Factory I kind of teach out of, and it's all TrackMan based. And between that and playing some events, I was kind of hoping to gear towards a European tour, key school sort of thing.
Nice.
But I've played maybe 16 rounds on grass this year when it was illegal. And then it became illegal again, because that's how the virus works, I guess. And so honestly, I'm just, I'm not really doing much. I'm trying to stay active, and I'm working on different random things that help in golf, like breathing and trying to stay in better shape. But it's It's pretty monotonous right now, man. We're like, it's not like a lot of other places at least have some sort of capacity in restaurants, or they're allowed to play golf at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty. It's called on-terrible right now for a reason.
Yeah, and that's obviously I reached out and we talked on Instagram. We figured out that's what on-terrible what you mentioned. But I do want to backtrack this, David, obviously to some junior golf. You had some some success. You played in the Canadian juniors, which is something I never will do now. But I do want to ask, how was that experience as a junior in Ontario, and just walk us through your junior golf.
My junior golf thing was it wasn't as big and grand as a lot of other people I was playing against. I played as many events I could on the Burger King Tour, which was the local Winchester County Golf Tour, and then I always played the qualifier for the Ontario Junior, and that usually made me miss one event, and I usually ended up getting through to the Canadian Junior, which made me miss another event. And that was kind of it. I just played those. The Canadians was, I said this a bunch, but I was never good. As a junior, I was people knew my name because they had to scroll down once to see me on the leaderboard, but they never knew my name from actually being on it. And I was always as a junior, I was very kind of streaky. I remember finishing 5th at the Junior Tournament of Champions in Ontario, and then just kind of having an off summer after that. So I didn't play a bunch between my mom and I. We just really couldn't make that work.
Yeah.
So going to Canadians for me, I remember playing against. I can remember Nick Taylor. I think the first time when we played, it was a Canadian junior in Sussex, New Brunswick, and I'm going to go ahead and say 05, and he absolutely ruined the field. It was an absolute hurricane of a day. I was he came in, I think he shot 68, and I was 81, and I was 9th, and he was obviously winning, and I was just there is no way that in my mind I cannot make up 14 shots. What?
Yeah.
And it was
that's a lot of ground.
Yeah, it was very eye-opening at that point. But honestly, as a junior, I wouldn't say I really didn't do much spectacular. Locally, I won whatever you had to win, whatever.
Yeah.
But provincially and definitely nationally, I didn't really do much. It wasn't until I kind of went to college and started playing more amateur events that I kind of
found your game.
Figured out how to win. Yeah, kind of figured out how to win a little bit.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You're pretty modest, I think. I mean, you must have done something good enough to get some university golf experience playing in Detroit. Walk us through how that all came about. Going down there. I believe Ontario's close to Detroit, so just walk us through that.
Yeah, I could probably hit 2 drivers from my house that I'm at right now to literally across the border.
Really? Wow.
So I'm in Windsor. I'm in Windsor here. I run to the Ambassador Bridge-ish and kind of back, I'm right here. So going to Detroit for me, at the time I was living in Essex where I grew up, and it was an hour away, but I won a couple of local Burger King events, and I was the top kid for 16 and under. But just there was a girl, Mandy Jupy, who went to Detroit Nursey, and she knew of me from kind of mutual friends, and a lot of people were always way too nice to me, and she kind of pitched my name to this coach, and I was never one. I would say I wasn't the normal arrogant little stuck-up golf kid. So I think that I built a pretty good rapport with this college coach, and I was always, I would say, in the top 2% of probably hard workers.
Yeah.
And I think he saw that, and nobody at that time for school. I talked to Youngstown State quickly because a buddy again from Windsor went there. I went to Tiffin University from a kid from Burger King Tour went there, but nothing super serious. And then Detroit University, he was pretty steady with me, and he unfortunately for me it came down to I don't really care, but I need to know how much money you're going to give me.
Yeah.
And they were the best school that way. And I absolutely loved my time there. It ended up working out. It was a great decision. So,
Well, I mean, you must be a Wings fan then, hey?
Yeah, you know what? Given the fact that you guys are so Canadian, I honestly don't really watch like too much hockey now. If I were to say like I'm definitely a Wings, I'm a Detroit fan and everything.
Nice.
Other than basketball, I'm more of a Lakers fan. But yeah, I'm a Detroit Wings. I'm a Wings fan. If I were to go see a game, I mean, I think it's maybe 10 minutes for me to get to from here in Windsor right now. So yeah, I like the Wings. I was a Paolo Bure fan growing up, but the Wings I think it's always been kind of my team.
Awesome. All right. Okay. So after some college success, set a couple records, and then you go play in the Ontario Am and finish second, and then finish 9th at Canadians. Like, first off, what was it like getting there? Second, just playing so well. Just walk us through that whole experience.
Yeah, in like 2007, I kind of figured it out. In like my freshman year in college, I won the conference championships as a freshman, and then I was like newcomer of the year, freshman of the year, and then I won an invitational, and then I won the Ontario men's match play, and then sure enough, the Ontario Amateur was at my home course that I grew up on.
Yeah.
I haven't played there and shot in the 70s in years, so. Yeah, I think I shot 70 there last year, but other than that, it's always been 60s. Or I can take it pretty deep there.
Yeah.
I finished second there, and then I ended up going to Canadians, and then that's when it was match play. When I went down to match play, and I played against Mike Knight, and we had a pretty good match. We got, I think, 2 extra playoff holes, and he made like a 15-footer for you, though. And then I think I caddied for the next day, actually. But he was a good player. He was on the national team at the time, and it was kind of then, like my freshman year, that I was like, you know what, I'm starting to win like proper events. And it was, for me, I always felt like I always worked so hard. My short game was really good. But I just learned how to manage my game a little bit better, I think, in college. And then practicing with people who were better than me. Getting in the gym, which is something like my first workout in college, I think I showed up with a bathing suit on. I didn't have a workout shirt. So I think that once I kind of in like 2007 there, like kind of when you were saying, like I ended up winning 3 Ontario men's match plays in 2007, 2008, and 2009.
Wow.
And then finished like, I think I lost to Alvin Choi, shot 30 on the front 9, and then I shot 31 on him on the back, and he beat me on 18. We had a great match for him to finally like end my reign. And then I just kind of like I think anything in golf, I had to get a bit of confidence. I started like I'd gone from doing nothing to people being like the people for the Golf Association of Ontario being like, hey, can we get an interview? And then people asking me about like before the AM who to watch, and I'm like, what the heck is this all about? So, I mean, I really liked it. Like, golf is my life. It's what my passion is what I love to do. So, it was, I think a lot of it when I started kind of playing better and kind of coming into my own, it was just like really rewarding. Like I felt as a junior, I had like kind of underperformed. Not that I was like a bad player, but I just thought that I didn't get enough wins.
Yeah, fair enough.
Better than me, and I just kind of felt that in the long haul, I knew that I would kind of go forward, and it was very like kind of I guess rewarding when you started kind of spitting out some numbers. I went from shooting like around even par to all of a sudden shooting 65, 66 in competition in a college event at proper golf courses, and that travels with you to the summer events and to your provincial events as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, I do want to talk about the Ontario match play, and you won it 3 times in a row. And I want to say, I got a text from a buddy that lives down south now. And did you play a guy from Saskatchewan here that's an absolute legend around here?
A guy named Kent Eager?
No, Colin Coben in the match plays.
Colin, what's his last name?
Coben.
I think I did. I think I played him in one round in maybe 2008.
Yeah, he told me who your caddy was. I think it was Russell. Does that ring a bell?
Russell. No, it wouldn't have been a Russell. No.
All right.
It would have been
way
the only
off.
people who had me there was Summerfelder Hicks, just my college buddies, but the name sounds incredibly familiar.
Okay, yeah. I was just curious. So yeah, I mean, winning 3 of those, like, so what does that I guess do for you because now you're done college, correct? And then you won three amateurs in a row, match plays.
It was kind of through college. So my freshman, I guess the summer after my freshman year, after my sophomore year, and after my junior year, I won the men's match play.
Wow.
And then my senior year, I've never had at this point, I've never had a lesson in my life.
Yeah.
And then my coach, who I still consider my coach, Luke Lefebvre, he just said, "Hey, have you ever thought about like maybe going pro?" Well, no, it's a lot of money, and he's like, "Your short game's unreal, but like you hit the ball really bad.
Yeah.
Like you got to do like you're really good, but like you hit the ball really bad." And so he he took me kind of under his wing there for about a better part of probably a year to 3 years, and got me to now where I feel like I don't have to practice every day, and I have a golf swing that's pretty repeatable, which is owed in large part to him. But at that point, my senior year was ending, and I started playing like absolute trash because I was changing my grip, my setup, my stance, my posture, my alignment, my eyes.
Everything, yeah.
So I was pretty awful coming in. The Horizon League ended up giving me Player of the Year, just honestly, probably because I had 4 solid years and they liked me, and I probably won that. I don't know. But what was I going to say? What was I going to say? Sorry. Match play, college.
Okay, well, while you think of that, I'll jump to the next one here. After you graduated, you returned home, you got a job at Gap. You and Kanye, you both have that in common.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, you worked one shift and then applied to it on the big break. I got tons of questions for this. How does that whole process work?
Okay, so when I said like I applied, so I went back to Detroit. I was going to a party, and I was filling this out. I my whole life, this has been my favorite show, and I found this looking at the Hooters Tour scores from that week.
Yeah.
I saw this like apply to be on Big Break, and I was like, what the hell? I can't, no way. So I clicked on it, and it was a whole application. So I was filling it out, and I thought I was getting ready to go. And the questions were just your basic, like how old are you, what school, what's your lowest competitive round. Honestly, whatever basic golf question that you want to know about somebody, they ask. And then they were like, who is your role model and why? And why do you deserve your big break right now and why? And those are pretty heavy questions. So I sat there for about an hour and kind of typed them out and just submitted it. And okay, cool. And they called me about a couple weeks later and just said, hey, would you be able to come down to Orlando for an audition? I said, yeah, absolutely. So the flights are pretty expensive. So I drove 16 and a half hours to this audition.
Wow.
And I went up there and went on the range, signed in, and so the guy said, hit some balls. I hit 3 7-irons. The last one went in. For a split second, I was like, this is my time. I have to do something. So I turned around and I was like, so is that any good? Or like, is that what you're looking for? And then I hit 3 drivers, and he just said, he just said that, hey, man, I can't really say a lot, but I think that you did a really good job, and I think you have a really good chance. And I was like, thanks. Like, that's really nice. And he's like, so they're just going to ask you again some questions in front of the camera. And he's like, so, like, how long was the flight down? And I was like, well, 16 and a half hour drive. I'm driving back like right now. He's like, you just drove down from Canada to do your audition? And I was like, yeah, I couldn't really afford flying, so I just hopped in my car. It was like $118 of gas. He's like, so what are you doing now? I'm like, going back to Canada. He's like, you drove down here this long for this like audition? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, all right, man. And then I got home, kind of waited, thought about it, and then they gave me a call. They said, this is David Byrne. This is Kristen Koch from Big Break. And I was like, yes. She's like, are you available for filming if we need you? And I said, yeah. She's like, okay, we'll call you.
Wow.
Okay. And then I didn't hear from for 4 weeks. And my mom was like, I remember my mom saying, like, you should reach out to them. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And then they called me and they said, hey, are you ready to be on it? Like, we're calling you now to select to tell you that you've been on Next Big Break. And I was like, oh, really? Like, it was my favorite show. And so it was like, that was kind of the whole process of getting on the show and going into the show, yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, like I said, I have lots of questions about this because I have no idea, and I've watched this show multiple times, but how does it all work? So, like, is it based on performance, or is it actually like, orchestrated that you would have won, or how does it work?
Yeah, no. There's no orchestration. You just play golf. And whatever you see on TV lasts a day. Nothing is manipulated to change any shot involved whatsoever. So whoever wins the show, or whoever loses the first day, loses the first day.
Wow.
The only thing I will say is that they can ask questions in a way where they can make you sound kind of how they want, and that's what I was really kind of cautious about. Because I was this young, I think I was 22 at the time, and I didn't want to be labeled as this like young, arrogant, like kind of douchebaggy kid. So like, you know, you're under a lot of pressure and you hit some terrible shots, and they might say a question like, Justin hit a terrible, tell me about how bad Justin's shot was. And the first thing you say is like, well, the shot was terrible, but you know, they already got their clip, right? The shot was terrible, and now it seems like on camera you said this, right? They really don't even do that though. They really are kind of like, I don't know what to say because I hear them in The Bachelor all the time, but like they're true to the personalities that are on TV.
Yeah.
You know, but it's pretty accurate. Every episode you see on TV is 1 day of shooting. I was there for 14 days.
Wow.
We didn't get to know where we were going beforehand. They were told to dress between 40 degrees in the morning and 75 in the afternoon, to have a passport, to fly to this airport. What else? I'm trying to think of all the other questions you want.
Well, yeah, I'll throw some your way. That's unreal. But you know, favorite part about being on the big break?
Being on the big break.
Okay.
That was it. That was my favorite show, man. That was it. That was my favorite show. Like, I would run home after work and watch it. So, like, being on the big break was the coolest thing. Winning it it's sick. It's cool.
All right, here's another one then for you. How was it going head to head with Kent Eager, Sassy Boy? What was that like?
Well, I can tell you, guy, and I don't know. I'm just going to tell you the truth like it is, okay? The guy is, honestly, I loved him. I know that I've heard mixed reviews on him. I love the guy. I think he's absolutely hilarious. I roomed with him. He is really good at the game of golf. He's really solid. He just doesn't really miss much, you know?
Yeah, he's a super good dude and good player.
I would say that, if I'm being super honest, like, I wasn't the best player on my show at the time. Now, I would say that if we were to go and do the show again, I would say in front of a camera and to millions of people in the world, I think that I am. But I just, at the time, I was really young and I was fresh out of college. And Kent is really good. John Lepak, who's a buddy of Kent's, and they kind of knew each other before, is a really solid player as well. P.D. Borjas down in Latin America doing well. But I do remember meeting Kent in the Scottsdale airport? Phoenix airport. And I go, he's like, Kent, eh? And I was like, oh, like, where are you from? Not thinking he's from Canada. And he's like, oh, Saskatchewan. And I was like, I don't think you're Canadian because, like, I don't sound like that. And he had his, like, such a thick, like, I guess, like, Canadian accent.
Yeah.
Here I really don't. But, like, he was, I loved him. He had his, Daisy, you got to fill up the cup with ice so the ice melts into the water. I think he was drinking vodka waters. I don't know. He was funny, man. I really like that guy. He's a really good player.
That's awesome. Okay, I do want to ask one more here before we move on. I believe you won over $70,000 and a chance of playing the 2012 Zurich Classic. Correct me on both of those, and if you did play, how was that event?
$70,000 cash is what they say on the television that everyone watches, and there's taxes involved. Do you know that there's a such thing as game show tax?
Oh.
Probably not, because I didn't either. So anyway, I would say 70 would not be an accurate number, but it did get to me. Like what I got out of that, like it wasn't the 70, but that's how like the taxes and whatever. But
yeah,
I did play in the Zurich Classic. In 2012, I missed a cut. I played with the practice round with the number one player in the world at the time, with Donald. I asked him 30 million questions. That poor guy.
Absolutely. I'd be the same way.
Yeah, I listened to Steve Stricker give a putting lesson to William McGirt, and Stricker had a tee time for his practice round on Tuesday, And he was like, you know what, guys, just go ahead. And he stayed there with McGirt to work on his putting stroke. And I was like, this guy's nice, this guy's awesome.
Wow.
But yeah, that was I played him at Zurich. I missed the cut. I unfortunately don't think I was ready. I would love to play a PGA Tour event right now. I'm very confident where my game's at. But I just was I missed the cut. But I did enjoy every moment of the week, and it was a dream come true. So
that's awesome.
It can't be all that bad. Yeah.
Alrighty, after the big break, you traveled and played some pro golf. Walk us through that experience going from, junior am, college, and now pro, and after having your first taste on the, the PGA Tour. Walk us through that experience.
After I had one big break, I had to turn pro for the show, so I was now a professional golfer. And I was like, well, I guess I should go to Florida. So I moved to Orlando in my car, and then found a place and kind of set up shop at Grand Cypress. Met a good group of LPGA ladies out there, and some buddies who I ended up living with. Some guys caddy on the LPGA, as I'm sure you guys know, including And so I just kind of did that and played some Florida tours, and then I played PGA Tour Canada from 2011 to the end of 14, and then I was kind of struggling financially, and I ended up. Life had taken me west to California. I did some, I played a bunch of.
It's not a bad place.
Bunch of nature events, and I was like getting by, but like I just like any pro golfer, right? Kind of struggled financially, and I ended up. Life kind of took me out west, and I ended up caddying at the country club for quite a while for some pretty nice people that I've always dreamed of meeting, and that I got to meet. So that was a nice thing that I got to do.
Yeah, so before jumping to that was my next point. We'll talk about that after. But I'm just curious, what was the biggest adjustment, I guess, playing pro? Obviously, the financial part of golf is not, very cost-friendly for anyone. But what was the biggest adjustment, I guess, playing pro golf now, as whereas every putt means something?
Yeah, you know what? I struggled with money at times with it, obviously. When I was on the golf course, I can honestly say I never thought about it. I just always, I love golf. I love playing well.
Yeah.
So if I'm playing for $5 or if I'm playing for $1 million, it's not really going to change how well I want to do, as I don't think that anyone would.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, I was really hard on myself. I drove across North America 4 times in a car, and that's a lot of hours by yourself. That's a lot of hours after some good events, and that's a lot of hours after some poor events. And when you beat yourself up, or you're trying to watch your money because you want to do something after next week, maybe, I don't know, do something for your golf clubs or get a movie up to whatever, so you're watching your money,
yeah.
You're not eating properly and whatever. So I would say that for me was a big adjustment. I think that growing up, a lot of people were always like, even if I had a bad day, like, yeah, you're a good player, don't worry about it. But when you're on your own and you're missing cuts, and the old saying is you get lonely on the road. But I wouldn't even say that. I actually loved being on the road. I loved it. But it's when you're not playing well, all you have is you, and it gets pretty tough. It gets a little bit tricky, and then you start questioning, what are you gonna do, and blah blah blah. And it's you don't. Sometimes you don't really know, hey, next week, am I going to, be here? Am I going to be there? Am I going to play golf anymore? And that was the thing, I think, for me. It was I've always known I was going to play golf, but when I was kind of, I guess, coming to an end the last time I was playing, it became, such a stress about money, and it would weigh on me so heavy that I think it ended up inadvertently taking away from my golf, and I don't think that that's something that I really ever properly prepared for.
Yeah.
When I was a junior, I think a lot of people kind of just helped me and said, yeah, you're a good player, and kind of kept me on my way, and it probably helped me out more than I probably realized.
Wow, that's unreal. Okay, I do want to talk about, obviously, caddying, and I believe it's Bel Air, the residence of the Banks of Fresh Prince. Walk us through your caddy experience.
I can't, that's not, it's tough to walk you through it. I met a guy at a pro-am that I won in the Hamptons. His name was Massimo Giannulli. He started a company called G4. Him and I met that night. I said, I've never heard of a guy named Hosel. Are you like the target brain? And he said, yes. And we had a big laugh, and we had a couple drinks, and then we became kind of buddies. Fast forward a year and a half, I'm living in LA, and I have to try to do something, and I'm caddying at Bel Air. He sees me on the putting green, and then I kind of become his like looper for when he plays. He kind of brought out most of the nice people that people care about hearing about. He was very good to me. But he you guys like hockey, so like Wayne Gretzky and Bobby Orr. Basketball, like Steph Curry, Iguodala. I'm not Grant Hill in Orlando, but those guys. I caddied for Chris Pronger, and he shook my hand, and I think there's still damage inside of it. He was a big boy. Then like Luke Wilson, I caddied for him after I actually met him at the Hamptons event. I caddied for a guy named Scotty Cameron. He's pretty good in the golf world.
Scotty Cameron?
Guy. Yeah.
Like the guy?
Yeah, Scott. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was a good putter. Oddly enough,
you think?
He gave all of us. Yeah, he gave us all the divot tool that I still use, and he actually ended up sending me a putter that Circle T that I actually use still to this day in my bag. Yeah, so I kind of ended up. He was out there, and then the guy who started Casamigos with Clooney, one of those guys, he was out there. There was just like a lot of people in a day-to-day thing that I never thought that I would come across.
Yeah.
And get to caddy for, and then it became very regular. You know, like I can't say regular, but it would, a lot of the times being in a caddy yard, you would be like, well, who's going to come out today? You know?
Yeah.
I remember, like, their member guest is pretty wild. Like, John Elway, Gretzky, Fred Hall, like, the boys are going pretty hard, they're having a good time. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a great little atmosphere to be around. I'll say this, that I never really felt like people would say golf is fun, and I think they're crazy. Like, golf is fun when I shoot 61, but golf is not fun when I shoot 72. But it was when I started caddying there, and these guys are like doing business deals and throwing around numbers that are uncomfortable to talk about, and they're having a great time, laughing and doing it. And it was that, like, kind of then I was like, wow, like this is the other side of golf that I've never properly seen before.
Yeah.
And I think that it actually, now that I've came back home and I've started to kind of play again and play better, I think it's in large part to just having probably like a better attitude and just kind of like being a little bit more relaxed on the golf course, just because I saw like how these guys operate and how they act. And even though they're not golfers, what they're talking about and dealing with on the golf course is a lot of money and a lot of businesses, right? So
yeah,
there's nerves and stuff going on there as well. So yeah, it was a whirlwind out there. It was wild. It was a pretty cool time, and it was something I never thought I would do. But yeah, I had to come home back to Canada.
Yeah.
And so kind of started over back here and just kind of figured it all out in the middle of a lovely pandemic.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, last point here before we go to our questions, David. Now you're teaching in, Windsor, called the Swing Factory. Walk us through that, how that all started, and honestly, what you love most about teaching.
So my buddy Wes Stewart, he had this idea. He's like, he mentioned it to me. He's like, what do you think about a place in Windsor like having some TrackMan and indoor simulators? We have some indoor simulator stuff that everyone plays in the winter, but I personally have never hit a 7-iron 229 yards consistently until I go to these places. So
really?
It's completely irrelevant. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So we have nothing in Windsor. We're kind of like lost and forgotten about. So he did it. He works at Chrysler's, and he's got a wife, 3 kids, and he's like, would you teach there? I was like, yeah, I want to. Like, I work there, I teach there, and I got a Birdie to Bogey and then G4 in there as well, that we're selling kind of in the pro shop. Birdie to Bogey is this all-Canadian company from Kelowna. It's pretty cool. And so I'm just kind of helping them with that. And we played golf in a group called the Misfits in Windsor that a buddy of ours started. And, he loves golf. And nobody was lobbying for this year in Windsor. I think it's the absolute best thing. Like, I always tell people, like, if they need to thank him, because for the longest time, like if I wanted to go to do anything or get any numbers, I have to drive to Toronto. That's 2.5 hours. You know, if I'm in Chatham, I drive to London. You kind of make a choice, but now they got a few more things. But like, he decided to do this, and unfortunately, all this stuff happened with the pandemic and lockdowns and all this stuff. But it's fantastic, and I'm happy to be part of it. What I love about teaching, honestly, I never thought that I'd be really that good at it, and I truly I talk a lot, and I didn't know if I knew enough about the golf swing because I've been around so many people that know so much about it. And I think in a much simpler term, but I had a guy the other day, not the other day, like when we were able to have people in there, and he was coming over the top, and this ball was like squirting out just like low and right. Like this guy couldn't hit it. So I got them just doing this little drill, getting his hands forward, the big foot, and then all of a sudden by the end of it, he's hitting these high draws, and it was like I was pumped. Like it was a very like rewarding thing. It was, and that's I never thought that I would get this way, honestly.
Yeah.
I never personally really saw me teaching but if golf doesn't become like a proper thing, I can definitely see it as a potential path. I haven't done it enough, but I would say that the few times that I've done it, it's been pretty successful, and it's been like rewarding for not only me but for the guy who's paying me.
Yeah, no kidding. Alrighty, off to our segment now called Questions from the Gallery, sponsored by TaylorMade Golf. They have the best equipment in the game. It is long, straight, new twist face technology. The Sim 2 and Sim 2 Max drivers and all their gear is incredible. It's time you make the switch to TaylorMade today. Team TaylorMade. All right, man, there's lots of questions in this questions from the gallery, as you saw. This should be a lot of fun. So first one here. Tell us a round that you don't remember much of, but you played unbelievable.
I know who sent this to you. So, no, guys, I'm a professional athlete, but sometimes, I work as a bartender, and my boss was playing volleyball one night. We had a couple drinks.
Yeah.
I was supposed to play in a tournament the next day at Essex Golf and Country Club with my pal Dale, and I had a late night, okay? So I showed up to the golf course and drunk.
Yeah.
So,
guilty golf.
And I was like, Dale, I can't do this, man. I don't think I can do it today. He's like, I got a Caesar. Let's go. I started on 13. I birdied 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Oh, my.
1, 2, 3, 5, 9, and I shot like 61. Handed the scorecard in. My buddy's like, great round. I honestly didn't even know what I shot. It was a very rare occurrence, but yeah, I have a scorecard.
Yeah.
Like I remember hitting my last shot, and I remember saying to him, I can't even take the club back. I'm so tired, and I hit it to a foot.
Oh, my.
It was just like, it was one of those days. It was a super weird thing. It's never going to happen again. Like, it was just like a weird day, but him and I laugh about it all the time because it's an absolutely hilarious story. Like, I straight up played really good golf. I honestly just hit it for like 2 feet all day, but I played really good
that's
golf.
boring.
Yeah. It was fun. Yeah, it was a lot of...
That's awesome. All right, here's one here. I'm sure you know where this one came from. Are you embarrassed that you used iron covers on your Hogan blades? And before you answer that, I have to question that too. Like, you used iron covers?
Look, everyone just take it down 10% here, okay? Look, I had Ben Hogan Apex Plus irons when I was 12. Also, who the hell did this come from?
Oh, let me pull it up while you tell the story.
Yeah, no, I'll go tell a story. And so I do remember at one time having them. They were the black ones with the red notch on them, the ones we all hate. Look, if you want to, like, I used to pop my collar when I was in college, okay? That's not cool either.
Really? Oh, just protect the sun. I do that too when it's too hot.
Yeah, there's pictures of a popped collar at Detroit Mercy. They're everywhere. Sometimes I did a double popped collar. Look, it's not a cool thing, but I don't use iron covers. I don't condone iron covers. I don't think they should be on the market, okay? I don't use them, all right?
I actually, one time I got a set one time when I was like 14. I'm like, these are so cool. And then I remember I was like, well, these are so dumb actually, because I have to I hit my golf shot, so I pull it off, hit it, then I have to clean my club and then put it back on. like so irrelevant. But then when I worked in the golf business in the back shop, I was like, you have iron covers? Probably didn't wash your clubs too well, to be honest with you. But
yeah.
And that question came from Adam Armstrong.
That's incredible. I haven't talked to that dude in, oh my God, 17 years.
Wow.
Wow, that's incredible. Wow. Wow, that's unreal. But I remember twirling for a shot and being like, yes. Staring it down, bend down, you pick up that iron cover, and guess what? All that coolness just went down the window.
Yeah.
So, I did away with them. I did away with them at an early age, and they're not coming back.
Alrighty, next one here. Do you think Netflix will run out of content during our third lockdown? Ontario,
God.
I believe.
Wow. No, I do not. That question was posed to me by someone. Never mind. Honestly, no. They won't run out of content. No.
That was from Brett Malls, I believe. Brett Malls? Brett Smallhorn.
Oh, Brett Small. Yeah, Smallhorn. Yeah.
All right, here's one for you, David. Where do you get your hair cut?
My girlfriend cut my hair.
Nice.
Now, my girlfriend's mom owns her own place. She's a hairstylist. I told my girlfriend that I said, you know what, fine, I'm just going to budget. We're not going to play golf anytime soon. I'm not going to see anybody. So I walked into her house. I immediately saw the clippers out, and I also saw the look in her eyes of a couple of glasses of wine, possibly. And so she started buzzing my head, not equally, mind you. So we came back to my house. I just had my little buzz and my clippers, and I was taking care of a couple of the areas she missed. And she just took it out of my hand and just went, "What are you doing?" in a lapse of judgment, and she scalped me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Fired, eh?
Yeah, she's not going to cut my hair much more. Probably ask her mom for that, given that's what she gets paid to do. But anyway, it was pretty funny. I mean, it wasn't funny with how I looked because I'm not a big person and I look really small. But
yeah.
Anyway, it's still growing. Like water, sun every day.
Deadly. All right, from Liv Leanne. Is it hard being so ridiculously good at golf?
No. These are all my friends just trying to drill you with questions, by the way. And, there's people who don't know I want to answer one thing to her, but I want to answer something to the rest of the world. So it's tough. You have to put in your time, and, you got to put in your dues. And if you just stick with it, Liv Leanne, I think you can do it, too.
I love it.
Oh, my God.
All right. Is it true you're starting a boy band called the Par 4?
How is this the thing? Why? Somebody else told me this. Who are telling you this? I'm not starting a boy band called the Par 4.
Well, we should do it. We could call it.
My girlfriend is now laughing. I'm not starting a boy band called the Par 4. I don't know who.
Is that your girlfriend in the back?
Anyway.
Can she hear this?
Yeah, she's giggling. Yeah, she's giggling. Yeah.
She's the lead singer now. That's awesome.
And, yeah.
All right, I do want to know lowest round ever.
I've shot 61 11 times.
Are you shitting me?
I shot 61. I have to look here. Okay. I shot 61 at Sutton Creek 6 times. 3 from the Golds and 3 from the Blues. I shot 61 last year at the Bromont Championship in competition. I shot 61 at Essex when I was buckled. I have them written down. I shot 62 at Beach Grove. I shot 61 down at Detroit Golf Club, the South Course. I forget where the other ones are, but I have it.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah. So it's just my new thing is this: I'm gonna break 59. I'm gonna break 6. I'm gonna shoot 59. I've said this for the last 2 years, and I've gotten hot some days. I think Windsor's the place to do it. I think I'm gonna do it. I think by me saying it publicly is putting your goal out there and seeing what happens. So
yeah,
here we go.
I love it. That's unreal, man. Okay, I want to know what's different in your yard book than anything else that you normally do.
What's different in my what?
Yeah, your yard book. Like, what's in your scorecard holder? Like, do you have certain numbers for this and that, or a piece of cheese? I don't know. What's in there?
Yeah, I don't carry much, man. I don't like the scorecard holder in my back pocket because I think it restricts my butt from turning back. So I usually just keep it aside, but like I love Sharpies, and if I don't have just like 4 chapsticks in my bag, like it's a bad day.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
Love the chapstick.
I actually had a good question here. I thought, par 5s, are you going for them all the time? No matter what?
No, look, I want to say yes because nobody lays up on par 5, but if you hit it like a high spinny one that's 260 into the wind, I'm probably going to have to lay up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like to go for them more often than not because I'm good with my wedges and I like to be close to the green or just lay up 2 yards, like if I'm not actually laying 2 yards. But if I can hit, if it's 280 away, I think I can get it 270, I'll go for it knowing that I'll be 10 yards short.
All right.
Most times, depending on the minutes.
Favorite golf memory?
I mean, winning big break, right? Like,
Yeah, I guess that's pretty cool.
winning big break, or honestly, probably winning conference my freshman year as a team and as an individual.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Last one here for you, David. For all the young juniors that are listening, for college golf, pro golf, just some advice on what it takes to make it and just how hard you have to work.
Okay. This is one thing I'm decent at. So I always say, like, when I grew up in a single-parent home, my mom had, I think, 3 or 4 jobs, and so did I. At 16 years old, playing on 2 hockey teams and playing competitive golf.
Wow.
So I was fortunate, like, obviously, but, if I was fortunate in the sense also that my mom was the only one that really kind of, at most times, there to kind of pick me up. So I would bring a flashlight to the golf course. So I would practice from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. when she was done work some summer days.
Yeah.
And I would always stay there and practice. And my short game was always pretty good. I would say that the one thing that I have learned, especially when you get to a pro level, maybe not even more so collegiate, but like when you get to a pro level, at each level, when you're a junior learning the game, to when you're a junior as a bantam or a tyke, whatever you want to call it, to like a provincial junior golfer, to a college golfer, at each level you'll notice more and more players you've never heard of will become a really good player. Like, who's that? I never heard of that person.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in your town and in your province. And think about what that happens to the country, to North America, to the rest of the world. So like that whole adage, like if you're not practicing someone else's, I think it's pretty good, but I also think that going through dealing with whatever I've had to do, understanding that rest and taking a day off if you're not hitting it well instead of just beating balls and being a kid. Like if you have a birthday party had to go to at 7 o'clock and you've been on the golf course for 6 hours and your parents won't let you go home, or you should go be a kid.
Yeah.
And the parents, you should never be forced to golf. Like my mom would honk her horn and then at 10 o'clock or 10:15, then I'd be walking up 18 with a flashlight.
Yeah.
Right. Because I wanted to. If not, I would have just stayed at home. Right. So the thing is that you have to work really, really hard. Golf is not a cheap sport. But I would say that, the one thing that I said when I went to Detroit Mercy, and a lot of good things for me came from Detroit Mercy, you can be good anywhere in the world. Like, you're allowed to be. Like, just because you might not play at the country club, you're allowed to be good. Okay? Like, just because you might not have a golf coach, because you can't afford it, you're allowed to be good.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that, like, a lot of juniors, you get separated into junior golf as a country club kid or not. And clearly, I think it's going away for kind of the country club thing.
Yeah, I agree.
But, but it's still there, you know what I mean? And I think that, you just kind of gotta, you just kind of gotta keep on doing your thing, and eventually something will happen. You know what I mean? I hope that the big break wasn't like the biggest thing I ever do, but if it is, it made everything else worth it. Like going up to that, right? So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So it's just, I think that especially in this day and age, a lot of, like, you have to work really hard. Like, you can't want to think that you want to do good.
Yeah, there's a lot of sacrifices for sure.
But like, it's your sacrifices. It's like I went to one high school party because we won OHS for hockey.
Yeah.
And I had to get up and work the next morning so I could play golf. So like, those are your parents have to make sacrifices, right?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily an easy thing, but the thing that I would say that somebody told me in college was, you can be good anywhere, like you're allowed to be. And so kind of from there, I always just said, yeah, that's right. So when I was at Detroit, which was in Arizona State or whatever,
Yeah.
I kept it putt and I worked. I did whatever I thought to do. If I was the best on the team, it didn't matter because I wanted to be the best in the conference. If I was the best in the conference, was I going to be the best in America? Probably not. Right? So it was always kind of knowing that you got to be better. You've got to be better. You've got to be better, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sacrifices, right? Like anyone who you see that people look up to for money, or Rory or Tiger, what did they do? Tiger didn't have a nail shot. The guy was hitting balls all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, Rory at age 16, he started getting media attention and started having to get like a coach to take him through that, right? Like, it's just why? Because he did something different. He committed. He made sacrifices to get to where he needs to be, right? And
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people now just don't want to work that hard. I would love to work that hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
I try to.
Well, that's a great way of putting it, man, and a great way to end this thing. David, I had so much fun today, man. Learned a lot. I hope that we can stay in contact and do this again down the road. Yeah,
for sure.
Thanks, man. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me on. I love all the podcasts happening right now. I think it's a great way to kind of get some different stories out there. It's a great avenue. I love what you're doing.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Well, you take care, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, man, for sure.
All right. Alrighty, episode 72 off the Hosel.
That's our pod.
That's it. That's our pod. Great interview with Ryan Pollock. First off, like I said to you, you weren't here for that one, nor was Troy, but yeah, I think it's good for the club. I think it'll be good. He's a young guy. You know, he's a lot of experience too. It comes with the job, obviously. I think, you know, coaching junior, like I said earlier, and you know, worked with the Riders, and that's it's a pro job, and so he's
definitely seems like he's a good leader as far as like he's the right man for the job. I think, right? So
yeah, and that was one thing he mentioned too, is lead by example. So excited for him. You know, we're gonna build that relationship over the summer and the years to come, hopefully. So yeah, a lot of fun with him. David Byrne, again, you know, he's a golf pro. He's at a teaching clinic in Ontario. You know, he's a little pissed, obviously, that they can't golf right now down there.
Yeah.
Like everyone in Ontario.
Yeah, who wouldn't be?
Yeah, it's frustrating when
It's the safest sport in the
Yeah,
world
like-
probably to play.
you know, even the guy we have on next week, JJ Tilling, West Texas Driving Range Pro, mentioned yesterday, like a guy can walk into Walmart, hey, he's not wearing any clothes, but he's wearing a mask,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's
but
filled, and you know, golf course has multiple acres of space, so
it makes no sense, but
yeah, and we feel for you guys in Ontario
Yeah,
and
that
girls,
sucks.
and it's tough.
hopefully it changes for you guys soon because, yeah, hopefully it does. Not much more else to say, right? Just
Yeah,
shake your head and wish them the best of luck, right?
yeah, exactly. But great podcast, full one today. We had a good chat in the start of it there. A lot of fun with it. Good inquiries and a lot of people writing in. You know, back in the doghouse with Danny H. What's the hell is it called?
In the doghouse with Danny H.
In the doghouse with Danny
Let's go.
H.
You got to remember that for next week.
All right, in the doghouse with Danny H. We had a lot of fun with that one.
Talk about some
We talked hockey.
talk
Playoffs are
lots of
here.
hockey.
Golf's back. It's always here.
Yeah.
PGA Championship this weekend. Enjoy it. Watch golf. Watch hockey. Watch sports. I'm happy you're back in the saddle, Danny H.
Yeah, man.
Troy, hope to see you back next week. The
Yeah.
intern Rip is always waiting for a call, but yeah.
As long as this seat's filled, he won't be coming. No, I'm kidding.
All right, that's it. Thanks everyone listening, watching.
Yeah,
Have a
thanks.
great week. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks to our sponsors. Danny H, always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. Love you.
You as well.
Love you guys.
Everyone else, make sure to subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening in our ears, subscribe on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, wherever your podcast provider. We'll talk to you next week. Peace. See ya.
Peace.